In the same way in Sahaja Yoga, we should not think of have divisions. Now we have got a beautiful land. As you must have heard about near the Ganges. Now people are thinking if they can have separate houses, separate compounds. Why? You know how to live collectively, you enjoy collective life, so why do you want to have separate houses? What secrets are we going to have from each other? After all, whatever we do is known on the vibrations. You cannot hide anything. So why have separate houses? Why do you want to have some privacy? Because in Sahaja Yoga there is no privacy. We know about everyone. What are they up to? What are their problems? What chakras they are catching? Isn't it? So there is no secret about anything in Sahaja Yoga. Everyone knows about everyone. So what's the use of having privacy also? I can't understand. It's like this, you see, still the mind is working like that. Then they are thinking of inheritance. All right, I was saying that you can have inheritance, but if your son is not a Sahaja Yogi, what to do? We cannot keep a culprit there to trouble everyone. It is not the rules and regulations that are going to keep you happy and joined together, but it is the pure collective consciousness and its love. Because as you know, we have no proper organizations, we have no clergyship, we have nothing like that. Leaders also can shift more times than Ganges river can shift its course. So there is nothing like that. It's all on a shifty sand we are standing all the time. And your mother is another one who tries all kinds of tricks. The reason is, I want you to stand on rocks. And this rock is emitting love, is emitting that divine love. And the joy of that love is really so beautiful. For example, people would like to have their separate bathrooms, especially Indians. Suddenly they have become Britishers, and Britishers have become Indians, you know. Indians want to have their separate bathrooms. I don't know why. And this is a very common disease with Indians. And it is also spreading to other people. I feel sometimes that they want to have their separate bathrooms. In a collective life, there's no need. You don't even know. But if you ask me, I won't even know if I've been to bathroom or not. Just go there, come back, finished. I have no time for all that. In the same way, you also should have a concept of a society which is living like an ocean. If ocean rises, they rise. If falls, they fall. Just one union of love. I am expecting that kind of a society at the foothill of Himalayas. And I'm sure all of you will realize that Himalaya being the Sahasrara of the world. Luckily, I wanted it to be done before the Sahasrara Puja, and it is done. With the blessings of Himalayas, I should say. But Himalaya is also like a Sahasrara where the Kundalini has risen, where the vibrations have come out. And in the sky you can see the vibration. But this Himalaya is ruled by a wrathful god called Shiva. That's the dangerous part of it. So we have to be very, very careful. If we try to play around, if we try to take to hatred among ourselves, take to divisive methods, take to something that is not Sahaj, this wrathful God is sitting on our head. He is also in Mecca. This is Makkeshwar Shiv there. If you try to misbehave, he comes out with his wrathfulness. Anywhere you are, you have to be very careful that this Shiva is everywhere. Like one of these lingas of Shiva is in Parli Baijnath, that is in Maharashtra, Latur. And there people started another kind of Sahajog. Also they were drinking on the day of the Sri Ganesha's Visarjan. So the wrath of Shivalanga came and there was such a big, huge earthquake. In many people were lost, but none of the Sahajogis and their center was saved completely. Now we had a big fire also, as you know last time, and nothing happened to you. You are under protection. You are all the time protected. There was no wrath of Shiva that could work out anything. Fire could not do anything to you because you are under protection. But this protection is your mother's love. Is not anything else but the love of your mother, which is very powerful, which is protecting you and helping you. In the same way, you develop that kind of love for others, for other Sahajogis, for other people, for other things, for this Mother Earth, for all that. Your love can not only protect you, but protect others also. Your attention, as long as it is on yourself, you will start becoming smaller and smaller. I should have this, I should have that, I like this, I like that. All these topics will fall. You'll never say, I like this. No question. What do I like? It's difficult for me to decide if I like anything. This I like, that I like to be this way. Who are you? Ask yourself the question. Who are you? If you are the pure spirit, it is nothing but love. And in love you think of others, the problems of others. You try to make others comfortable. You try to look after others. And you don't just look after yourself and bother about yourself. This is what you have to reach. Though you may be dharmic, you may be in every way Sahaj, but still, unless and until you reach that state in your Sahasrara, I wouldn't say that you are all right. You have to work it out. For that, of course, meditation is very important. But the thing that stops it is your mind. It's your mind that goes on telling you. All the time you watch your mind, how it tries to guide you, how it tries to tell you, now, what about me? What about my house? What about my children? What about my country? Like that. You go on my, ultimately you end up into nothing. But when you say, you. Kabir has said a beautiful thing about it. He says that when the goat is living, it is saying, meh, means I. But it dies. Then they take out the intestine and put it on a dhunki, where they put it for the cleaning of the cotton. And that time, what does that dhunki say? Tu hi. You are the one. You are, you are, you are. And that echoes all over.